Part 68. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 672. She saw the boy's eyelids move and he slowly opened his eyes. In an instant, all the light was condensed into those eyes containing stars. Lu Zhenjia looked at the street light above his head, a little suspicious of life. Was he so flirtatious when he was a teenager? Why do you feel that it took me a long time to close the 10% progress bar of the strategy, and he pulled it to more than half in one day? The overlord fell into silence. Lu Zhenjia, Jinli next to him bit his head sideways and called his name suspiciously. Lu Zhenjia looked back at her. Jinli, he called her name seriously. Jinli. The next moment, the shadow approached, and another person's breath invaded. Jinli, do you like me or him? Jinli. What the hell are you talking about? She didn't speak, but asked clearly with her expression. Lu Zhenjia also felt that this question was a bit silly. Isn't that all yourself? But looking back, he always felt an inexplicable feeling in his heart. I always felt that Jinli was extra good-natured and tolerant towards himself when he was a teenager. There is a feeling that I have been greened by myself. Lu Zhenjia shuddered at this description. It was so scary. Jinli looked suspiciously at the man in front of him. She didn't answer the other party's question, but looked at him inexplicably. Are you really Lu Zhenjia? Lu Zhenjia. What makes you think I'm not Lu Zhenjia? Jinli, the Lu Zhenjia I know would never ask such a stupid question. Lu Zhenjia. Jinli got up. Okay, I've been with you all day, but I'm exhausted. I'm going back. Lu Zhenjia's eyes lit up with these words. Jinli said that she spent the whole day with her. This sentence means that she also regards the boy in the daytime as him. Because it was him, she was willing to spend the whole day with him. He laughed to himself. Jinli glanced at him from the corner of his eye, clicked his tongue, shook his head, and said nothing. A big pig's hoof in love is really unreasonable. How could she fall in love with such a stupid man? But forget it, for the sake of his face, just be stupid. As Jinli thought about it, she felt her hand being pulled. Why? She looked back at him inexplicably. Can I carry you out? Lu Zhenjia said. Jinli. She looked at herself strangely. My foot is not injured. Why don't I walk by myself? Straight girls are just that scary. Lu Zhenjia was used to her steel straightness, so he coaxed her softly. We're here to play today, to experience the feeling of a couple's date. Those couples who come out to play have such a period. The Ferris wheel, merry-go-round, and marshmallows are all available, and the sense of final ceremony is indispensable. Jinli. She really wanted to say no. She is not very experienced with this kind of romance. But the damn man with a beautiful boy face in front of him started to look at her with expectant and pitiful eyes again. This is the look that the fish cannot refuse. Forget it, as long as you are happy. Who made you look good? Xiao Xianyu, who has always been a good-looking and murderous little fairy, stumbled on other people for the first time. When Lu Zhenjia picked her up, she held the marshmallow in one hand and was still muttering, these human beings have so many tricks. But, after a while. Well, the wind is so gentle tonight, and the stars in the night sky are extra bright. Lu Zhenjia's back is also quite comfortable. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 673. Lu Zhenjia walked slowly with his little fairy on his back. He walked very slowly, and when he got outside the playground, the little fairy on his back had already fallen asleep. The marshmallow in her hand was about to fall as soon as it loosened. With a move of his mind, Lu Zhenjia put it away. A faint light came on, and Lu Zhenjia turned his head to see two screaming girls covering their mouths, holding their phones in their hands. Seen by the parties, the two were obviously a little embarrassed, turned around and ran away. was photographed. Lu Zhenjie was actually very happy to have someone take pictures of himself and Jinli, but now Jinli is a star. This kind of picture would get her into trouble. Well. He sighed and walked to the parking lot with Jinli on his back. The little fairy on her back woke up by herself at this moment. She rubbed her eyes, a little dissatisfied with herself for falling asleep like this. Jumping off Lu Zhenjie, Jinli yawned, "How long have I been asleep?" Seeing her sleepy look, Lu Zhenjie smiled and said, "A little time." Oh. She was sitting in the passenger seat. Qin Jiangzi called and said that she had bought a large amount of jewelry and asked when they would be delivered to her. Jinli was surprised, "Is it so fast? It's only been a day and a night." Qin Jiangzi said with a smile, "Normal business is definitely not so fast, but the Divine Supervision Bureau reported Mr. Lu's situation to the higher UPS, and the higher UPS heard that it was needed by the mythical beast Pixiu, so they issued an approval note without further ado." In fact, both the Supervision Bureau and Qin Jiangzi have Lu Zhenjie's contact information. But they all chose to contact Jinli. In fact, Lu Zhenjie was originally the kind of person who seemed indifferent and difficult to deal with, but now he has an added halo of a beast. They really dare not call Lu Zhenjie. Jinli understood what Qin Jiangzi meant. Huaguo sells Lu Zhenjie's favor. She nodded, "Immediately now, the sooner the better." Qin Jiangzi expressed his understanding. After hanging up the phone, Jinli looked at Lu Zhenjie, "Did you hear the content of my call?" Lu Zhenjie nodded. Jinli was a little happy, "It looks like you should recover soon." Lu Zhenjie, "Yes." Jinli looked at him strangely, "You don't seem that happy." Lu Zhenjie shook his head, "No, I'm very happy. It's just that all the joy, compared with being able to meet you again, has become less surprising. The scenery outside the window is speeding." Jinli looked at it with her head propped up, feeling a little sleepy. "I'll sleep for a while," she said. "Well, go to sleep." Lu Zhenjie drove the car a little slower. Jinli leaned against the back of the chair and fell asleep. Dimly, she had a dream. In her dream, she was still a little koi spitting bubbles in the Tianke lake, tremblingly looking at a silver-gray mythical beast staring at her on the bank. "That beast looks so big and fierce, does he want to eat koi?" Every time the divine beast looked at her, Jinli was so frightened that she swam down to the bottom of the pond. She ran slower, and could still see that the beast looked very irritable, as if it wanted to stretch its claws into the water to catch her. Really scared the fish to death. Jinli opened his eyes in a daze. This dream is not so friendly. She remembered the appearance of the beast in her dream, staring dangerously at the man beside her. Lu Zhenjie was puzzled by her look. "What's wrong?" Jinli exhaled and complained, "I just had a dream. I dreamed of a divine beast that looked like you, standing by the Tianke, wanting to catch fish and eat it. 2 more. See you in the afternoon. Looking for a monthly ticket. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 674. Lu Zhenjie. I don't know why, but I always feel that this dream sounds a bit strange, and there is also a feeling of fascination and familiarity. He asked calmly, "Catch fish? Why do you want to catch fish?" Jinli shrank her shoulders, as if she could still feel the fear in her dream. She beeped softly, "How do I know? Maybe the beast has a cat disease." Lu Zhenjie. He looked very interested. "You said, the beast in the dream is very similar to me? Then can you tell me the details?" Jinli told him all the details she remembered. Lu Zhenjie. His expression became a little subtle, and he asked, "Jinli, you said, in your dream, you were blowing bubbles in Tianke before you transformed?" Jinli nodded, "Yes. That mythical beast that looks like a pixie who doesn't look like an adult yet, looking at you by the pool. Jinli nodded again, and added, look at me fiercely. Lu Jinja. He thought about it and said, have you ever thought that the reason why he looks at you like that is because he thinks you are very beautiful and wants to play with you? Jinli, huh? She looked at Lu Jinja blankly, never thinking about this possibility. Lu Jinja analyzed with her, think about it, a mythical beast that is very similar to Pixiu must have similar hobbies to him. What does Pixiu like? He likes beautiful and shiny things, so when he sees you, it's probably true. I really like you and want to play with you. Jinli, but he looks so fierce. Lu Jinja, it's not his fault that he was born that way. He thought silently in his heart, no wonder at the beginning, he stayed in Tianqi for so many years, the little koi ran away when he saw him, and didn't want to play with him. No, Jinli looked at him suspiciously, you're not that beast, how do you know what he's thinking? Lu Jinja smiled slightly, implying something, what if I am the Pixiu in your dream? Jinli, maybe we have known each other a long time ago. Jinli frowned and thought about it, then said with certainty, impossible. Her memory is complete, and she is sure that she does not know any Pixiu. Lu Jinja's eyes darkened, and he said with a smile, that should be a dream. For the rest of the journey, he seemed a little depressed and didn't speak much. Jinli looked at him a little confused, not understanding why he was suddenly upset. When she got out of the car, she stopped him, Lu Jinja. Jinli frowned, you're in a bad mood right now. Lu Jinja was about to shake his head when Jinli interrupted him with a firm tone, don't lie, I'm pretty sure my feelings are right. Lu Jinja opened his mouth, but said nothing, expressing his acquiescence. Jinli asked him, why are you in a bad mood? Lu Jinja said in his heart, because you forgot about me, but I can't say anything. Because you won't believe it? He continued to remain silent. Seeing that he was silent, Jinli pursed her lips and guessed to herself, could it be because I dreamed that you were a fierce Pixiu? Lu Jinja. Before he could speak, Jinli thought he had found the answer. She sighed, and patted her boyfriend's shoulder, Lu Jinja, you are a mature Pixiu now, can you stop being so childish in your thinking? Lu Jinja. Jinli, forget it, it's a big deal. Next time I dream, I will dream of you as a heroic, invincible, and handsome beast, okay? The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 675. Lu Jinja. So, who is naive? Why do you think I'd be mad at something like this? Lu Jinja wanted to refute, but after thinking about it, he felt that there was nothing to refute. Let her think so. Anyway, now, the two of them met again, and he took her hand again. It doesn't matter so much whether you can remember or not remember all the things before. He smiled casually, get out of the car. Seeing him, Jinli was obviously in a better mood. Sure enough, it was because of his unhappy dream, alas, Lu Jinja is getting more and more childish. I still have to coax him. Asterisk. Jinli and Lu Jinja went to Lu Jinja's house because they were waiting for the people from the Supervision Bureau to come over. The people from the Divine Supervision Bureau came very quickly. Said to be people from the Supervision Bureau, that is, two old acquaintances, Long Hao and Qing Yangzi. Lu Jinja's affair is about Pixiu, and it cannot be hidden from those who are interested, but Lu Jinja's current situation is not suitable for many people to know. Of course, the Supervision Bureau can't just send two people to contact Pixiu casually. The two people who entered the door were stunned when they saw Lu Jinja. Long Hao is okay, anyway, whether he is happy, shocked or angry, he always has the same expression, and there is no big change. Qin Jiangzi is different, this Taoist leader is just a funny guy in the skin of a fairy. He stared at Lu Jinja in shock, you, Are you Mr. Lu? In the past, Mr. Lu was an adult man, but later he turned into a young lady. Looking at it again today, he became a beautiful boy again. So are all your god's appearances so arbitrary? Lu Zhenjie recognized Qin Jiangzi, and he raised his eyebrows. Compared with the indifference of the adult appearance, the young man's arrogance was 2 points more flamboyant and 1 point disdainful, but he looked much more lively. Do you have a problem? Qin Jiangzi was shocked by this look, and quickly shook his head. No, no. As he spoke, he looked at Jin Li with happiness in his heart, and said cheerfully, I just think that you look like a good match with fellow Daoist Jin Li. Long Hao standing aside. He looked at Qin Jiangzi silently, and finally understood why the leader ordered Qin Jiangzi to be taken with him. I still remember when he said before that he could deliver things by himself. His boss patted him on the shoulder and said earnestly, Xiaolong, I'm absolutely assured of your ability, but, we don't just want to give things this time, it's best to build some relationships and win the goodwill of the beasts. With Long Hao's reticent personality and this face that everyone owes money and never pays back, the leader is very afraid that if he goes, the goodwill will turn into enmity. Facts have proved that it is correct to bring Qin Jiangzi. With just this sentence, even though he knew that the person in front of him was a compliment, Lu Zhenjie's mood improved a lot. He took a gentle look at Qin Jiangzi. I remember you sent me back last time. Why, because of my fortune, didn't you buy something to try? Speaking of this, Qin Jiangzi's eyes lit up. I bought it. I won. What did you hit? Lu Zhenjie was careless. Qin Jiangzi, scratch, I won 20,000 yuan. Lu Zhenjie. Is this what you are good at? Are you looking down on me, Pixiu? He couldn't help raising his voice, pointing at Qin Jiangzi. Now, immediately, go to the nearest lottery station, don't talk nonsense, buy a lottery number. 4 more. See you later. The Koi Fairy Wife is Sweet as Honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 676. Qin Jiangzi. He seemed to be shocked, and a little dazed. What do you mean? Lu Zhenjie no longer wanted to deal with this worthless human being. It was Jin Li who looked at the old acquaintance like this, and kindly said, Don't ask, if you ask, you are going to get rich. The word getting rich hit Qin Jiangzi's heart like a shot in the arm. He finally understood what was going on. Qin Jiangzi, the 39th head of the mission school, received the blessing of the mythical beast Pixiu's father. Starting from him, mission will finally start to get rid of the fate of poverty. Then I'll go first. Qin Jiangzi was anxious after realizing it. Long Hao. You go, he said coldly. Neither Jin Li nor Lu Zhenjie showed any expression, saying that you should go quickly. Qin Jiangzi's figure disappeared from the house in an instant. Jin Li estimated his speed and sighed, Poor fellow Taoist Qin Jiangzi, you're almost so happy. Long Hao glanced at her, and said lightly, No matter which human being has such good luck, they are all very happy. Will you do it too? Jin Li looked at him curiously. Long Hao paused for a moment before he said, Am I still a human being? He is just a dead soul who was forcibly left in the world by magic. Jin Li tilted her head to look at him. Why not? Your heart is too heavy, it's not good. You should think more about happy things. Long Hao glanced at her. Thank you. There was no other reply. He took off a small bag from his body and handed it to Lu Zhenjie. This is something I bought, take a look. Lu Zhenjie took it over, and with a movement of his consciousness, the contents of this small kinkin bag were released. The huge living room is almost half submerged. The sudden light flashed into the unprepared eyes of one person and one fish. Long Hao turned his head slightly, thinking that fortunately Qin Jiangzi is not here. If he were here and saw so many treasures, he might be unstable. Lu Zhenjie looked at these things and was surprised. There are a lot more than I imagined. Long Hao replied calmly, So, Your assets may be in urgent need for the time being. Lucenja. He was also calm. Don't be afraid, with me here, it's only a matter of time before I earn it back. The exchange is over. Lucenja didn't change back to his original shape this time. He opened his hands, and countless golden mist rose from the ground, rushing towards his body. Soon, his whole body was shrouded in golden mist, and he couldn't see clearly. Jinli was watching from the side. From another angle, it looked like a magic scene. Long Hao felt differently from her. He was almost shocked to see the randomly piled jewels on the ground lose their luster and become grey at a speed visible to the naked eye. He silently thought in his heart, fortunately, Qin Jiangzi went out to buy a lottery ticket, otherwise, if he saw this scene, he would not only have his Dao heart unstable, but his Dao heart would collapse directly. These treasures are enough to buy 1,000 Mao's Hans, the kind that bring all the disciples. Mission, that's how poor it is. Asterisk. In less than a quarter of an hour, all the golden mist was absorbed. Long Hao silently calculated in his heart, 15 minutes, more than 7 billion. Sure enough, Pixio is not affordable for ordinary people. At this time, Lucenja changed his appearance again. He was a teenager before, but now, he is completely a grown man. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Koi Fairy Wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 677. Long Hao saw something familiar from him. It was a bit like the Lucenja he had seen before, and of course, it was more of a glimpse of him in the Sun Country that day. Although Long Hao also felt that it was not right to describe Lucenja with a glimpse, but it was really difficult for him to conceal the feeling of astonishment and shock. Jinli was also looking at Lucenja. The last time he was in Sun Country, he appeared so short that Jinli only left an amazing image in his mind. But now, she can look at him carefully and seriously. His current appearance is completely different from the appearance of the beautiful boy before. Even if you point to 2 photos and tell others that this is a person, no one will believe it. In fact, if you look closely, you can still see some similarities in the facial features, but the aura is completely different. That beautiful boy of 16 or 17 looks like a noble and proud young master. The man in front of him was a noble and unparalleled cold and proud emperor. Jinli looked at Lucenja without blinking, and confusion gradually appeared in his eyes. Lucenja asked her, "What's wrong?" Jinli said suspiciously, "I always think you look familiar." Long Hao interrupted the chat between the two at the right time. Although he was criticized for having a low EQ and not knowing how to be a human being, it doesn't mean that he is a fool and can't read winks. 2. If there is nothing else, I will go back to the God Supervision Bureau to report the task. In the current situation, it is obvious that the two who seem to be lovers need a private environment to talk about the old days. Then he, of course, wants to say goodbye. Although Lucenja's conversation with Jinli was interrupted, he was satisfied with this human being's wit. He nodded and said to Long Hao, "Go." After a pause, I felt that I should give this interesting human a little reward. When you go back later, you can also buy a lottery ticket. Although the first prize may be gone, it is not bad to earn pocket money with the second prize. Long Hao. He left silently and quietly. Leaving the Lu residence, Long Dui, who had never bought a lottery ticket before, picked up his mobile phone and silently searched for lottery tickets, and then found the big lottery. Second prize, each bet, bonus 60W. Cold Dragon Team. Pixio's pocket money is indeed different from what ordinary people understand. Buy. Of course you have to buy it. How much to buy? One bet is more than 600,000, and buying more bets is of course more. But Long Hao thought about it, shook his head, and only bought one bet. People still can't be too greedy. Asterisk. In Lu Zhenjia's villa, Jinli and Lu Zhenjia were talking about this. How much do you want them to win? Lu Zhenjia didn't take this matter too seriously. It doesn't matter if you win 1 bet or 2 bets, you can't be too greedy. If Qinjiangzi and Longhao buy a lot of bets by themselves, they will cover all the prize pools for this period, and Pixiu can also give them all these. It's just that human beings have always had a saying that you can't chew too much. If they really do this, what they will use for the rest of their lives to make up for this fortune that is far beyond their control is not up to Pixiu to decide. Jinli nodded and said nothing. She still believed in the character of these two people. She turned her attention back to the person in front of her. Have we never met before? Lu Zhenjia paused for a moment, then asked calmly, have we seen each other before? Don't you feel it yourself? 6 more finished. See you tomorrow. Ask for a monthly ticket. Ask for a monthly ticket. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zhaji. Chapter 678. Jinli was stopped by his words. She tilted her head and looked at Lu Zhenjia carefully. After a long time, she shook her head in half confusion and half affirmation, I've never seen you. Lu Zhenjia raised and lowered his heart, feeling a sense of sadness. Yeah, we haven't met. I'll just say it, Jinli said proudly, you are such a beautiful fairy, if I have seen you before, can I forget? Lu Zhenjia smiled, yeah, now that you've seen me, you'll never forget it again, right? Jinli looked at him, I always feel a little strange when you say that. But she really didn't know what was strange. Forget it, Xiao Xianyu never thinks about unreasonable things. So, have you recovered your strength now? Jinli asked him. Lu Zhenjia shook his head, it's just that he's returned to his adult appearance, and he's still far from returning to his peak strength. That's it? Jinli understood. If Lu Zhenjia recovered so easily, she would be jealous. It's okay, you can take your time. Anyway, I'm going to stay in this world for a long time. By the way, Jinli thought of something and asked him, then do you know how to return to the heaven now? Of course, just travel through the void directly. Lu Zhenjia told her. Jinli had a bitter face, sure enough, my current half-spiritual body will never be able to withstand the storm in the void. Sigh. She looked at Lu Zhenjia, what about you? Lu Zhenjia smiled, I don't have anything to do in heaven, so I'll be with you. Jinli bent her eyes, okay. Jinli was relieved that the more difficult matter had been resolved. Sleep and sleep. I didn't sleep last night, Jinli muttered, touching her face in distress. Staying up late has dulled my beautiful skin, she muttered. Lu Zhenjia. But you are not a fragile mortal, you are a fairy, he reminded her. Do you understand when you go to the country and do as the Romans do? Jinli rolled his eyes. Lu Zhenjia, well, then take a quick bath and go to bed. What the little fairy fish says is what it is. Then Lu Zhenjia's thoughts froze. Then me? Where do I sleep? President Ba stood where he was, lost in thought. When Jinli finished the bath and smelled delicious, all he saw was a boss sitting in the room meditating. She asked strangely, why are you still here? It seems that the meaning of the girlfriend is already obvious. Lu Zhenjia raised his eyes, I'm not here, where are I going? Under the light above his head, Boss Ba's handsome side face was even more handsome than he looked in the daytime. Jinli took a step back vigilantly, you can't use beauty tricks on me. I'm a decent little fairy. Lu Zhenjia chuckled, got up, and walked towards her. When Jinli took a step back, he took a step forward. Until the one who retreats, there is no way to retreat. And he approached step by step, raising his hand was a wall, imprisoning him in a small world. You, what do you want? Jinli stared at Lu Zhenjia warily. Lu Zhenjia lowered his head and smiled, like a spring flower blooming, I didn't think about anything, I was just curious, what is a beauty trick? Jinli. That's how you are now, you big pig's hoof. She snorted, I'll give you a minute, let me go, step back 3 meters, open the door, and go out by yourself. Lu Zhenjie thought for a while, what if I don't do it? Jinli sneered, then I might have multiple ex-boyfriends. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the koi goddess. Author, Sushao Zheji. Chapter 679. Lu Zhenjie. He felt wronged, especially wronged. Am I old now? You're so cruel to me even though you're still handsome and unrestrained. The overlord who has just become a regular is bound to be unwilling to leave. He looked at Jinli firmly, Jinli, is there nothing to talk about? Jinli, go out, good night. Lu Zhenjie, don't force me. Jinli. It was originally a half-joking thing, but now she was really curious about what Lu Zhenjie was going to do. I'm forcing you, what do you want? Lu Zhenjie gritted his teeth and sneered. Jinli watched helplessly as a silver-gray light flashed across his body. The man in front of him had disappeared, replaced by a very handsome and beautiful beast. This beast was about as tall as Jinli's waist, with long, fluffy fur hanging down smoothly, and a pair of beautiful wings on its back were closed around its body at the moment. His animal eyes, which were supposed to be cold, were staring at Jinli tenderly and intently. Jinli. It was not the first time she saw Lu Zhenjie's animal shape. The cub form is fluffy and cute. The battle state is majestic and majestic. But the cub form can only be said to be cute, and the fighting state is too high and inaccessible. Like this, the grown-up Pixiu, who had deliberately shrunk in size but was still majestic and beautiful, had lost all evil spirit, and stood in front of her and looked at her. It makes people want to move, want to masturbate. Lu Zhenjie, this is your trump card. Jinli struggled to leave the shiny silver-gray fur with a complicated expression. She was thinking that Lu Zhenjie was really unscrupulous, and he turned into his original shape to seduce herself. At the same time, he couldn't help but imagine, that fur, which looks oily and slippery at first glance, must be very comfortable to touch. How well does Lu Zhenjie know her? The reincarnated overlord Lu has almost mastered the ability to observe words and emotions, only Jinli. What's more, this Pixiu who has recovered his memory. The beast in front of him knew her better than Jinli imagined. With just one look from her, he could know what she was thinking. At this moment, Lu Zhenjie knew that his plan had succeeded. Although it was successful by relying on the beast form, barely it can be regarded as relying on beauty. He spoke with a deeper and more magnetic voice than when he was in human form. We Pixiu are only willing to show our real body in front of the partner we believe in, and we are only willing to let the partner we believe in touch us. Jinli, you have seen my real body, and hugged me too, so I can't run away. This beautiful beast flicked its tail and said in a low voice, we Pixiu don't have the tradition of living apart from our partners. Jinli. She thought about it, and felt that this was a little inappropriate, although I said that, there is only one Pixiu. You can decide what traditions you have, and no one else knows the truth. Lu Zhenjie, you think I'm irresponsible after watching it? Jinli. She tried to reason, but when I watched it before, I didn't know. Lu Zhenjie, I don't think I'm responsible after you masturbate. Jinli. The beautiful beast sighed, okay, because you are Jinli, I'm willing to give in. If you really don't want to, then I'll go. Good night. Wait, Jinli felt that things were not that simple, so she asked cautiously, come on, where are you going? Sitting in the car and struggling to get out the second update on the phone, see you tonight. Ask for a monthly ticket. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, Love from the Koi Goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 680. Pixio's heroic figure was stunned because he gave him a sense of loneliness. He whispered, "Since you don't need me, then of course I appear where you can't see me." Jinli. Pixio continued, "Since you don't want to, this is also the last time for me to show my original shape in front of you." Jinli. That's too much. This is a blatant threat. Don't think she can't see it? The little fairy is not some silly little fairy. She snorted coldly, "You said that on purpose." The beautiful beast turned around and admitted very readily, "Yes, I did it on purpose." Jinli. Asterisk. Last of the last. A beautiful Pixio slept in Jinli's room. Jinli made a concession, but it wasn't a complete concession. Lu Zhenjie could sleep in the same room with her, but only in the shape of a beautiful animal, and he could use Jinli as a pillow, a quilt, and a hand warmer at any time, and also make a guest appearance as a big cat, so that Jinli can have a good time. Asterisk. From this day on, Lu Zhenjie during the day and Lu Zhenjie at night finally merged into one. The next time, Jinli finally decided to work hard, collect the golden energy as soon as possible, and reach the pinnacle of life. Oh no, it was to recover her strength and return to the heaven as soon as possible. She went to Cody to finish filming the advertisement for the new product, accepted a partner reality show, and was handed a script by Sister Ching with an inexplicable expression. According to Lan Ting's description, "I think, the appearance of Sister Ching handing you the script is as if she is handing over some treasure passed down from generation to generation into your hands." Jinli thought about it carefully, and felt that Lan Ting's description was quite vivid. That script is now in Jinli's hands. After reading it, he finally understood why Sister Ching was so cautious. This is a documentary dedicated to this era. The Huaguo Film and Television Administration released the script, and directly named the actors. This movie condenses all the classics, latitudes, and righteousness of the family and country in that chaotic era, reappearing those legendary sages who were either amazingly talented or hard-working, and restored those passionate battlefields again. When Sister Ching got the script, she almost thought she had drunk too much and was daydreaming. Why did she get this script? Why did she get this script? Why did Jinli's name appear on the starring list? If you look closely, you can see that the front and back of Jinli's name are all familiar names. Actors and actresses who have won countless trophies, veteran actors, even seniors who have retired, and a small number of young actors, all played supporting roles in 2 scenes. Only Jinli, whose name silently ranked among the top 5. Absolutely in the lead role. Sister Ching was so frightened that the melon seeds in her hand were about to drop. Her first reaction was even, "Can I call the State Administration of Film and Television and ask if there is a mistake?" After getting an affirmative reply from the other party, Sister Ching became even more worried. She was really scared. What if Jinli messed up in front of a group of bigwigs, dragged down this documentary-like movie show, and was banned by the State Administration of Film and Television in the future? However, something even more horrifying happened to her. Sister Ching hadn't figured out how to tell Jinli yet, but the other party called her again a few minutes later and asked her to take care of Jinli, not to be under pressure and just perform normally. Potential young actor opportunity. The Koi fairy wife is sweet as honey, love from the Koi goddess. Author, Su Xiaozhaji. Chapter 681. Regarding these nonsense, Sister Ching expressed her understanding with a very cooperative hum on the face, but she didn't believe a word in her heart. Give potential young actors a chance? Although Sister Ching felt that the little fairy under her hands was indeed excellent. But she didn't swell enough, thinking that Jinli was the most powerful of the younger generation. Not to mention far away, the nearest one is Su Hexiang, which is as big as Jinli. Even if she gave Sister Ching an 800-degree filter, she couldn't say without conscience that Jinli could compare with Su Hexiang in acting. Oh, Seo Hyexiang is also on the list, but at a very low position. She will play a traditional opera artist who has fallen into the world but has a strong character. The name that sounds very famous, in this blockbuster documentary, only occupies a short length of a few minutes. Not to mention the other young actors, they are all young actors with good looks and acting skills, and none of them can last more than 5 minutes. There is no comparison with Jin Lee, the lead actor who almost runs through the entire scene. Asterisk. When Jin Lee handed the script to Jin Lee, as if he was really getting to know himself as an artist for the first time, he looked at her carefully for a long time. Jin Lee touched her face. "Sister Ching, what are you looking at? Have I become prettier again?" Sister Ching let out a breath. Fortunately, it was the familiar Jin Lee. She said, "It's true that it's more beautiful, but that's not what I'm focusing on today." "Jin Lee, you hide really deep." If it wasn't for the phone call behind her, she might just feel that there was someone behind Jin Lee. But with the obviously reassuring and even cautious phone call behind, Sister Ching understood that it was definitely not a simple case of someone behind the scenes. It was clear that Jin Lee's background was so strong that even the State Administration of Film and Television had to be cautious and even flattering. Whether this strength was due to Jin Lee or the support behind her, it didn't matter to Sister Ching. All she needed to know was that from now on, no one would be able to stop Jin Lee's way. "You told me before that you would become the most popular star in the world. I don't believe it, but now." Sister Ching looked at her with a sigh. "I believe it." Jin Lee wrinkled her little nose, and her focus was completely different from what Sister Ching expressed. "Humph. So what you said before to trust me was a lie? You disappointed the little fairy so much." "Sister Ching, is this the point?" Jin Lee, "Otherwise." "Sister Ching, the important thing now is. The father of the State Administration of Film and Television gave the green light. You are going to be popular. By the way, you should read this script. This will definitely let the people of Haguo see you. It can be brushed to the top." Jin Lee casually flipped through the script, very calmly. I know, what a big deal." "Sister Ching, you are not young, why are you so impetuous?" "Sister Ching, let me tell you that I have endured a lot, and I am no longer impetuous. If I want to be really impetuous, I can show you a 3-kilometer on the spot, do you believe it or not?" She happily talked about countless topics with Jin Lee around the script, and when Jin Lee was about to faint, she said, "By the way, I also accepted a variety show for you. This big documentary called The Backbone of the Country took a long time to prepare, and there was still a long time to shoot, enough for Jin Lee to take over the job. 4 more. Step on the speed of life and death later.